Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I got a nice lesson for you today. Picked up on a lesson I just got done with. I got to piggyback off that to take you to the next part. So let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message is in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, is to get all right thinkers to be able to do just that. Know thyself. And all right thinkers who follow my philosophy, your goal should to be just that. Know thyself. I'm giving you everything you need to do just that. Let's go. I ask you, do you know yourself? It's a rhetorical question, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know, it's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. Why? I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my yacht. Be true. I started the lesson with the role of a teacher. I ended up with that. And I left a few things out. So this lesson, right thinkers, let's talk about what a teacher knows. And we're gonna go into what a teacher knows about good association. Okay, let's start at the top. When you're a teacher, understand this. We should all know this. All good teachers know this. You cannot assist others who don't want to be assisted. You can't teach somebody who don't want to be taught. That's the philosophy. And all teachers should know that. They don't want to be assisted or who don't want to or who are not, excuse me. Those who don't want to be assisted or to those who are not qualified to receive the teachings of the right thing philosophy, aka mystical, spiritual, or yoga philosophy, whatever you want to call it. But for those who don't want it, don't waste your time. Okay? Those who don't deserve it, again, don't waste your time. All right? You can only work to purify your heart and to promote the same in others by what? Your example. And be prepared for the time when what? When they who seek what you have come and ask for your assistance. That's what I do. Help and assist, enlighten you to know thyself. Doors always open. This idea, watch this, excuse me, this does not mean that you cannot or you should not engage in projects to what? Help others. If you doing something positive, count me in. For the kids, count me in. If it's religiously context, doing something good and righteous, count me in. Why? I ain't got a problem. The system whatever's going down that's gonna be good and positive. I represent one person. I will come and show up. That's what I do. Work with you. I ain't got a problem with that. But watch this. Now, to the contrary, such projects can help what? You develop what? Purity of heart. How do you do that? By providing what? Experiences and opportunities for you to practice what? Your selflessness, aka more self-control, your dispassion, your detachment, etc. You learning on the fly, so to speak. Okay? And thereby what? Promote effacement of the ego. Right there. Anytime you get a chance to squash your ego, take it. Why? Because if you let him rear his head, you let him get a toehold, oh, you have a problem. He should be in the position of servitude. Yes, sir. No, sir. What you need from me, sir? That's it. Put him in the slave position. Let him work for you. Don't let him do the work for you. No. Moving on. And the key is to what? The attitude with which you perform any of your duties. Perfect example. I love this phrase by Mike Tyson. Imagine this. Getting wisdom from Mike. Yeah. Okay. This how you know he changed. He says self-discipline is doing what you hate like you love it. I thought that was profound because I find myself doing stuff I don't particularly care for, but I do it and do it right, get it done. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, but watch this. Now, if you engage in actions with an attitude of egoistic attachment, meaning pride, selfishness, repulsion, or regret, what happened? You are just intensifying what? Your fetters, meaning you're going to cause yourself more problems, which bind you to what? Human existence. Well, what they mean? If all I want to do is serve my body or serve myself, be it physical, monetary, if all I want to do is that ain't going to get it. Simple as that. That's what keeps you here. Why? You're going to be incarnated. You had to become enlightened spiritually. You had to learn. You had to become conscious of who you are, aka know thyself. And watch this. This attitude would be like, watch this, that funky attitude, watch this, would be like rejecting God's plan for what? Your own spiritual development. You blocking God out with your ignorance. That's who usually does it. Why? That's the ego. He don't want God in. He wants to run the show. If you treat all your experiences, watch this, as what? As opportunities to learn and to grow and be better and do divine work by allowing what? Your soul to express itself how? Through your mind and body, but when serving others, excuse me, mind and body, serving others, okay, and developing what? Your latent talents that lie within you. Then your life experiences will lead you to an inner fulfillment and mental serenity, which will open the path of what? You ready? Self-discovery, aka know thyself. And this is the true purpose of social work. Helping somebody achieve that level of excellence within themselves. That's what the teachers do. That's what the sages and the gurus do. Right thinkers. Understand this. This is a good little lesson come right here. Every day, nature, God does what? Provides you with what? Opportunities to purify your heart. Meaning you get a chance to get it right. You get a chance to do what you think is best. Whatever happened yesterday don't mean nothing. You get a chance every day. Watch this. Now, all situations were in life are carefully planned tests for you to what? Practice what? Developing your what? Divine virtues. Humility, okay? Selflessness, detachment, positive state of mind, fearlessness, joy, peace, etc. You see the different qualities compared to the Satanian qualities? This is how you purify the heart. And these are the teachings of what? Maya. And they show you how to achieve these goals. How? Through selfless actions when in the daily activities. You do right thing for the right reasons. No matter what it is you're doing, you do right. That's virtue and righteous living when daily. And it's in your everyday normal life. You ain't got to do nothing special. Simple. Watch this, where we at. So the teacher I got there now. The world of human experiences, watch this, is really the what? The heart of Maya. Why? Because you gonna go through everything, hopefully, from the heart. And that's why you make your heart light. That's how you purify your heart with good and righteous deeds and virtuous living. That's it. If you try anything else, you waste your time. So moving on. Where we at? This is the heart of Maya. Here you go. But now, the world of human experience is the heart of Maya. Watch this. Now, from a higher perspective, what you mean? This entire universe, I told you, is the heart of Maya. The first thing Ra did when he came out of the noon was to set what? Order. That's Maya. Duality. That means you have a choice. So therefore, what? you should strive to understand what the way of Maya, aka right thinking philosophy. Why? In order to come into harmony with the way of the universe, teaching you to know who you are. That's all I'm doing for you. Give you the lessons that you need to do just that for yourself. And when you're consciously, watch this, when you're consciously comments this process, what happened? You will begin to discover what true joy of life. Hello. That's the best part about it. Feeling good about yourself, just feeling good about life, living, waking up to see another day. All that stuff. You got the older people here say, Father, I'm just glad to see another day. When you get to that point, you winning. You on the upside. When you still struggling in life, you beat life beating you down. Come on, right thing. I can help you out with that. But watch this. Now, when you have true joy in your life, and those, watch this, when you having true joy, what happens? Those around you will benefit. Why? In a most profound and mysterious way. Perhaps even without you knowing it. They seeing what you do. And you'd be surprised who's watching. Okay, so that's the difference. And if you allow yourself to be guided by what my teachings of right thinking philosophy of wisdom, you will be entering into what a stream of what they call light, which flows from the divine. You're walking in the grace. You're walking in God. All that good stuff. But if you're living it, that's when it happens. That's when people will see it from the highest to the lowest. Okay. You having done this, you will have what enlisted the people of the greatest power that exists, your own higher self. Introducing you or getting you to know yourself is the best thing to happen. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm giving you the best gift you can have. I done pushed drugs. I done sold a whole bunch of other nonsense. I'm giving true knowledge away. That's the true statement. Okay, watch this. And then whoever, wherever you go and whatever you do, what? You will be blessed with the divine essence just from living right. And most of your religious people who follow the tenets, that's what they understand. Why? Because they get the blessings from what? Living right. Following the tenets don't make a difference what you profess. But when you live it, that's how the blessings come. This is the way of what? Of Maya, or right thinker philosophy, which puts what? The forces of nature, right thinkers, use the force at your command. Again, you can control the forces of what? And do divine work, helping others to know themselves. To me, it's divine work. That's my job. My job is to help. Your job is to receive and do. I'm doing my part. What about you? Moving on. But when you consciously decide to align yourself with what? The natural forces and acquire wisdom as opposed to what? Going against the forces and aligning with the forces of ignorance and egoism. They go together, okay? By changing what? What's this? By changing your life, and that's what I did, through what? The ancient practices of the mystical spirituality, aka Maya philosophy, you have what? Initiated what? Yourself. I became an initiate when I wanted to be a better me. That's why I started reading it. And this is old news to me. Why? Because I did this. I know this. I'm trying to give it to you. Why? I know it works. I use it. So I did. So you initiated yourself on what? The path of enlightenment and salvation. When I started on my search over 35 years ago, I was in the order, Masonic order. I was in the church. I'm Bible studying. Oh yeah. You have no idea. Okay. But I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't satisfied. I wanted this ain't really doing it for me. So I went in search of the truth. This does it for me. Maybe it might not do it for you. Maybe the other stuff worked for you, but I know what worked for me. I'm just giving you what I know works. That's all. So understand that. So thus, that initiation is what? Is really a deeper, personal, and serious matter which you need to reflect upon for yourself. Reflect on you. Are you happy with what you're doing? Are you happy with the situation you confront? If not, change it. Moving on. And this is the best part. True transformation can only occur if what you are sincere and honest with who? Yourself. Ding, 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 ding. You're gonna do it me. You're gonna impress me. No, you're gonna be right there to impress me. No. Impress me with buying my merchandise, but no. Be your best self. My goal is to get you to do that. Why? And what happened? You be your best self, and if you follow right thinking philosophy as instructed, what happened? Therefore, your spiritual life is not the spiritual life you live is not easy in the beginning, but what happened? But it is most rewarding in the end. The reward you have by knowing thyself, whatever you had to do to get there, don't care why I got it. Like reaching a certain achievement in life. What you did to get there, don't nobody ask how you got to heaven. If you up there partying, you just look around who's here. Yeah. If they got there, they had to get there the same way you did. That's the concept. Let me wrap this up. Appreciate you tuning in. It's gonna be a quick one. I'm about to end it right now. Where I'm at. Okay. So the only week now, so therefore your spiritual life is nothing but it's rewarding. Watch this. Now, this confers what? That the greatest goal of life is eternal bliss, which is not what perishable, like any worldly attainment. I told you, anything in the world can be taken away. It's nothing. But true happiness from within lasts forever. That's that lesson. Now let's get right into the next lesson called good association. A right thinker would know and tell you what a good association is. Right quick. Let's cut the lesson short. I got another page for you. So let me rip through this right quick. One of the most important ways of promoting awareness and constant reflection is keeping what? The company of wise teachers, aka or sages. Hang out with somebody who is smarter than you. If you're the smartest person in your group, you're in the wrong group. If you're the smartest person in the room, get out of that room. Simple. Moving on. Why? Because in ancient Egypt, the temple system served as the purpose for what? Instruction of the aspirants, aka right thinkers. This is why I want a school of right thinking. Why? At any given time, you can come and get your lesson. Like I put out here every day, at your discretion, come and get your lessons. You know they're there. Moving on. So, instructing in what? In the wisdom teachings, and you allowing them to what? Back into the world on a regular basis in order to what? Test their level of understanding and self-control by what? Practicing the teachings when confronted with ordinary worldly people and conditions. They teach you at the temple. And when you go out into the world, use what we teaching you and see if it works. Manifest the principles that we give you out in the real world to find out if it works. Yeah, it probably work right here. Yeah, because we all doing the same thing. But out there, it's a little different. Take it and see. The Shaolin monks, they knew that if you mastered a philosophy that they taught you, when you go out to the world, you won't have a problem. My man came, he walked and went everywhere. Only problem he had was people who wanted to mess with him, and that's never good. So yeah, when a man have defense and God on his side, leave him alone. That's all. That's what they're trying to show you. So what happened was the Shaolin monks was killed. The Tibetan monks, why? By the Japanese who didn't like what they was doing. Again, just because they worshiping God their way, the other people didn't like it. Long story short, they goes up into the mountains now and did what? Learn how to defend themselves. The last person you want to mess with right now is a Shaolin monk. But that's because what happened to them, they know. We as a race of people, we know that we are in danger. We suffer because what? Lack of knowledge. Why aren't we make knowledge a priority? That way you can take care of their problem. That's what the Shaolin monks did. I'm just saying, give you a concept. Okay, moving on. Where am I down here? I lost my place. All right, come over here. Yeah. So the temple, yeah, again, like the school I want to open, was the place where what? All initiates could go, what? On a regular basis to receive instructions and counseling on what? The correct application of the teachings in what? Your day-to-day life. This is why I'm here every day. Why? It don't happen every now and then. Life happens every day. This idea is reflected in the stela of Tahuti Nefer. It says, consume pure foods, have pure thoughts, with what? And use pure hands and adore the celestial beings and become associated with wise ones, sage, saints, prophets, make offerings to God, meaning daily prayer, but you socialize or you associate with what? Wise people, not the ignorant ones. We get to that lesson in 1 second. But the association, again, with a sage and saints, aka good association, is seen as a primary way to what? Accelerate your spiritual development of the aspirant, meaning you're learning at accelerated rate. Why? Because outside of class, you get to hang out with them, you get to ask questions. When you're interacting with your teacher, aka your master, all you want to do is ask questions. You should. And all he should be doing is answering the questions. If you know what he's doing, that's what he'll do. Again, this is because it is the nature of what? The mind to imitate that which it's focused on. If you're focusing on goodness and righteousness, you're going to do that. If you're criminal minded, meaning you want to do stuff on the low, been there, done that, you're going to do that too, okay? Until you realize what? One of them ain't going to work. You figure it out. An important definition of the symbols associated with the Shema or the Sema is to render clear or visible insight. In ancient Egypt, the gathering, assembly, or they call it reunion, was called Smat, S-M-A-I-T, or Smat, S-M-A-I, in a name for the temple and the gathering place. In Egypt, the priest assumed the role of the preceptor, Sabah, okay, and leading who? You, the initiate, to understanding the teachings of the hieroglyphs and to purification of the mind by what? Your mind, purification of the mind and body, and eventually to what? Intuitional realization. How? Through the practice, daily practice of what? They call it mental exercise. We know it as meditation and the application of the wisdom teachings. You have to study what you're being taught to become proficient. In ancient hieroglyphics, watch this. This is symbolized by the scenes where you have deities such as, you ready? Haru, Tahuti, Anubis, Hathor, Aset, etc. Leading who? You'd initiate to me who? Asar. You see every one of these guys, when the scales of Mayat, the feathers way out, and you pass, either Haru gonna take you, Tahuti gonna take you, any one of them would take you where? To Asar. That's where you're going. Okay. Other than that, they got a Met takes care of that. But everybody that heart is heavy, don't worry about it. You ain't going nowhere. So, and they get to meet Asar, meaning you pass. And his or her what? That's your higher self. You go sit on his lap, so to speak, not at the right hand. You absorb right into him. You become him again. That's where you come from. You go back to there. That's the concept. We originally started that concept. Y'all call it heaven and hell now. But in India, watch this. This process is known as satsanga, where what? Where you, the aspirant, receives teachings from who? The guru, Sadi, spiritual preceptor. Again, they call it guru, we call them sage. But on a continuous basis, meaning you're getting taught daily. In Buddhism, this process is known as Sangha. In Christianity, watch this same idea was reflected in relationship between Jesus and John the Baptist, and later between what? Jesus and his disciples. Keeping what? The company of wise ones is an important and powerful tool for what? Spiritual development. Why? Because the nature of the unenlightened, ignorant mind allows it to make what? Subtle mistakes, which can lead you, the aspirant, where? Astray from what? The correct interpretation. Right there. There's so much misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the words from the Bible, any book, that is careful. You gotta be careful who you listen to. If you don't know how to fact check the truth, find somebody who do and ask them what you've been taught. Is it the truth? Simply that. If you can't make that decision for yourself, if your discernment is not that well, ask somebody who's is. That's all. Where I'm at. Okay, I'm over here somewhere. Okay, the Buddha. Interpret the teachings. So thus, receiving the correct teachings is the real force which what causes transformation. The real teachings is control the force for transformation through what? A baptismal ritual, not the ritual itself. The knowledge that you acquire is what's going to help you transform, not the dump you in the water and all that nonsense. No, it's the lessons and learning that give you the knowledge. Life lessons, that's what I give you. Okay? Understand that. It ain't about the ritual. Almost done. So therefore, the teacher, aka guru, priest, sage, etc., who is what? Who is close to God, meaning an enlightened being, knowing themselves, as it were, watch this, is seen as greater than God. Why is that? Because he or she can what? Lead others, aka aspirants, where? Toward God. Ding, 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 ding. That's my job. That's my job. That's my job. Sorry about that. And knowing who and where God is and how God is to be discovered, I know. Sorry. Otherwise, without me teaching my right thing philosophy, it would be a very difficult and long and arduous process. What? For you, the aspirant, not the right thinker, to realize the truth. Because you're going to have constantly reincarnations until you get it right. So you got to find somebody going to have to teach you anyway. Come on, I got you. It would take what? What's this? You ready? Millions of incarnations. That's a lot of stuff to really. The idea just bugs me out, okay? But I can get it. I understand why. I know people who I know reincarnated. We ain't gonna talk about that. But wherein was this? The untold sufferings would occur in the process of what? Gaining experiences. Why? Which would teach you the proper way and what? How to discover your higher self. You're going to be taught to know thyself one way or another. Like my man, the booty bandit. We can do this the hard way. We can do it the easy way. But I'm going to enlighten you one way or another. Understand that? Do it the easy way. I don't want to force it, but I will. Take that. Take that. I'm sorry. All right, let me wrap this up. All right, I'm almost home. But your psycho-spiritual journey through this life will impart one of the most points about what? True spirituality, namely what? That true spirituality is universal spirituality. It ain't individual. This means that if you discover the truth, what? About your own, you ready? Religion, what happens? You will have discovered the truth about all other religions. Why? Therefore, true religion is a religion of what? The heart. You must always keep in mind that you are transcendental, immortal, and eternal. And as such, you are endowed with what? All the qualities necessary to what? Achieve the highest level of spiritual realization as a human being, regardless of your background, your country, or your origin. That means I told you, if it's 9 billion human beings, we got 9 billion ways to get to God. That's what they're telling you right there. Wrapping it up. Here you go. Now, another important point is to try to become what? Right thinkers, be your best possible disciple. When I was learning, I wanted to be the best student I can be. I made sure I got A's in everything I was doing across the board. Moving on. So, being your best disciple you can be, watch this, while still what? Performing your everyday duties of life. You ain't got to go out your life duties to be a good disciple, okay? Once you honestly set in motion the mystical process of your own spiritual awakening, you will one day encounter what? More advanced personalities from whom you can now learn and progress further in your understanding. In every city, state, and country, there exists what? More advanced personalities. We're everywhere. Who can what? Who can lead you further along your spiritual path of what? Self-discovery, aka to know thyself. Have you known anyone who is able to control what? The emotions. Have you known anyone who have lived through what? A bad situation, and such as the loss of a loved one or a serious illness, and has moved forward with composure, handled like it was nothing, without losing enthusiasm for life? Have you met anyone who have been like a pillar for others, strength for everybody, whom others go to in time of trouble, of need or need? If you have a good fortune to know someone like that, get close to them. And then you ask them to show you, teach you how they came to possess this advanced spiritual quality. Doing the right thing. Ask their permission to what? Spend time with them. Oh, as they say, go to their feet. Rest at their feet to get the lessons. Same thing concept. Watch this. Ask for their permission, sit with them, and you may benefit from what? Their knowledge and experience in living. Again, ask the elder. They know about life if nothing else. Why? They live in it. You may find that some people are well developed in some areas, but not in others. True. And learn what they can, and you emulate their virtuous characteristics. Take what you like and let the rest go. If you get to the point where you feel there is no more to learn from that person, okay, you move on and you continue seeking, and you will discover what? That the steps which lead toward upward on the ladder of spiritual aspiration is there. No matter where you go, there's always somebody who can help you. And there is no greater blessing than what? Than to meet a sage or a saint who have attained what? Christ consciousness, nirvana, Buddhahood, Horushood, salvation, liberation, etc., aka know thyself, nihas. So while at the same time being well versed in the written teaching, they can best help you what? To understand the subtlety of the teachings and lead the esoteric of the subtlety, the esoteric, the hidden meaning. And leads you to what? A greater and greater awareness and comprehension, which will lead you to your own mystical experience, aka realization in what? A shorter time than through what? Your own methods, which is trial and error. And we've talked about that, how long it's going to take. So watch this. So they cannot transform you into spiritual personality. You must do that yourself. I can tell you that I'm just pointing in the right direction. But however, you need to what? However, there can be, or they can direct you on the correct path. Again, that's my job, to get you to the point of what? Point out your own mistakes. And now, if you're willing to learn, a lot of people don't take constructive criticism well. Okay, but if you want to take it and learn, that's how it's done. Now, you need not specifically search for someone who is enlightened in your own religion. You may continue to follow what? Your own religion, while still learning what? The subtleties of spiritual discipline. No problem. You ain't got to change nothing, just practice. And the yoga science as they apply to what? All religions. Right thing philosophy applies to all religions. Why? Equally. Because you should not become distracted by different religions or teachers. Rather, set your attention on what? The highest goal, enlightenment. And then all else will fall into place. First, the kingdom of heaven. That's enlightenment. Do that first. Now, a disciple who does not practice the teachings of their spiritual preceptor with the notion, watch this, a disciple who does not practice the teachings of their spiritual preceptor with the notion that what? The preceptor will provide for me, he and she spiritual development, is like a person, watch this, who expects to become physically fit by merely just going to the gymnasium without doing any exercise. We know people like that, waiting for somebody else to do it. No, you got to do it yourself. Again, the preceptor, what? Provides the mental food. I'm giving you the information in the form of what? Wisdom, teachings, conversation, lessons, life lessons, I call them. And then what? It's up to you to what? Take this food, consume it, understand it, digest it, absorb it, and then allow it to become what? Part of your being. You got to live it. Last one, take it home. I see the clock running, but I hope you got this lesson down. Since your innermost God is your supreme preceptor, all of the situations you find yourself involved in, which with a divinely inspired to provide you what spiritual education. The same divine self is what instructing you through the spiritual preceptor, your teacher, and it is the same divine self which aids your reflecting and understanding process to know thyself. That's the lesson. And right thinking in closing, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know the right things like you have passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back.